Chapter 1: Content and Organization for Presentations in Experimental Sciences. Science papers often follow the IMRD style. This means that they contain an introduction, methods, results, and discussion. A scientific presentation features a similar structure.
Nuclear energy has been a significant source of electricity in many countries. According to the International Energy Agency,
Provide a brief background to the topic. Give a clear example of why this topic is important. Explain the issue using concrete evidence or real-life examples. Show previous data to support the research background and significance, using visual aids where possible. Use previous studies to support the research question. State the hypothesis. For oral presentations, a succinct description of the methods is needed. Give an overview of what was done in the experiment. Provide a description of the steps taken in the experiment. Support your methods description using diagrams and images of the major steps. Give a description of the materials and reasoning for their usage. Describe how the results were analyzed. The results section of your presentation might just be a graph. This means that how you display the graph is extremely important. It should be as easy to understand as possible, but you should not assume that your audience can understand it immediately. Take some time to explain the axes and main trends. Begin the discussion part of your presentation by stating the main finding. Compare this finding with the initial hypothesis. Remember that if your results do not support your hypothesis, this is not a failure, but a potential advance in knowledge. There are no failed experiments, only failures to learn from them. Next, identify the key points of interest from the experimental results. Compare the experimental findings with previous experimental findings in the literature to give context. Describe any limitations of the experiment that may have affected the recorded outcomes. Add what you think is the likely effect of each limitation and how it might affect the conclusions you can draw. Offer avenues for further research. What is the next logical research step or unknown that still remains? Finally, wrap up your presentation with a brief conclusion. Summarize the key finding of the study. Conclude by going back to your main point. You may have said a lot in your presentation, but what do you most want your audience to remember?
To conclude, my study suggests that the use of obstacles may be advantageous for increasing power output from wind turbines, though attention must be given to their placement.
This is a good time to emphasize the importance of the finding. Describe the significance of the experimental outcomes and the major implications for future research and practical applications. Show the references used in the presentation in the final slide. And it never hurts to thank the audience for their attention.
Thanks for listening.